Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, when we did the last video, I thought we'd do a continue of that one. You ended on having a lot to think about from what had been said, and my question was um, that you focus on people that haven't helped or that have hindered you when you've sought help, and rather than focusing on the people that have cared about you. Um, so, and you said, "Oh, that gives me a lot to think about." So I thought about something from that, and it's just a question really of is it is there something that keeps you in that, number one, and number two, um, does that something to be non-trusting of others and expect a certain length of caring keep you safe?
Um, I think in a way it is a way of keeping safe. It's a way of keeping distance from people. It's a reminder that you've you've fallen for it before. Don't fall for it again, as in trusting people or people who say that they're going to help you. It might start off like that, but eventually they'll get fed up of you, or if you're not doing exactly what they want, you won't be seen as helping yourself, or you'll be seen as whatever words they want to give it, challenging or not non-engaging or anything like that. I think
So do you, in effect, really don't trust yourself?
I think that must be right, because I don't trust that I won't get tricked again by other people. I don't trust
Is that your
my own,
judge?
yeah,
Yeah.
my own judgment. Just going back from to when I was little and being abused, I thought that person was all right, and then they ended up abusing me. And it's like I've lived by being very, very cautious of people who say they're nice or say they're going to help me or whatever, because they'll eventually turn. It might take a while, but they will eventually. And I guess it's a reminder to always expect that and not fall for that trap again. But I've fallen for it loads of times.
Do you see that the very thing um, is what you seek out then to, like doing a recce? If you're in a danger area, then you're going to start to pull up the stones to have a look under every stone for a danger. Therefore, you have to be in a danger area to do that. So, can you see how, excuse me, from what you've said, then that would be how our past predicts our future? Because if we keep carrying the memory of our past, which are just memories, then we end up being addicted to um, the dopamine hits of that feeling. So now we're in this feeling now. So we need a story to keep the feeling going. So when we have a feeling about something, we have a habit. And then eventually the feeling becomes a condition, and then eventually it becomes part of our personality. And so when we have this feeling, then you don't stop and say, wow, I've got that feeling again. We believe in it.
Mm.
We make a story of it. That's me. That's part of my personality. It's a feeling. But then that becomes part of our future. So is it that you've relied on this feeling as a dopamine hit so much that it's the feeling that you trust? So you kind of stick to the feeling. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a known feeling.
Yes.
This
Is it normalized?
It's normalized.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not. I've normalized it for me to be very cautious all the time, very hyper vigilant. Even to be that hyper vigilant, I put myself in danger because I've been too busy looking for it. I haven't seen it when it's there.
Yeah, that's it. So the very place you're trying to get out of is a very
Yeah,
place like a maze where you're just trying to look for I need to get out of danger, but every time I say danger appears.
yeah.
And so I bring it in. So Is it that you know the areas you look for danger? Is, in your everyday life, do you watch things or that that kind of keep you there?
Yeah, I think I do keep myself surrounded by things that keep me reminding me that I am right by being hyper vigilant. I am right by not trusting somebody. The things I watch, whether it's a documentary, or whether it's just in the news, or even a drama or anything, it's always crime based. It's always most often abuse based or murder. Um, Documentaries and so forth on serial killers, or watching things about death row, about lives not being valued. Oh, well, you've taken somebody else's life, so we'll put you on death row because then it's life for a life. And it's not.
Murder is the cure for murder.
Yeah, and it's not valuing any, like you've been treated like somebody's been, they've murdered um 3 people or whatever. It's like, well, 3 people ain't worse than one. You value one person's life. Do you know what I mean? And it's I watch things that really don't give life, or don't give people, or particularly children, any value or any respect.
So, is there anything, do you have an example of that, of something that you've watched?
Well, the news at the minute is very much about Jeffrey Epstein and sex trafficking and um, abusing underage children, um, and the media, and how the government and the royal family are all involved. That's brought a lot to my mind. It's generated a lot of anger in me that I didn't realise I had. Mainly the anger isn't towards the criminal acts that they have done to these young people and to these women. The anger is generated from people who lie, or don't do anything, or say, I didn't know about that, or I didn't, I didn't have enough information, I didn't know that was happening, or I'm angry at those people for lying instead of just owning up. I'm angry at the way that it's portrayed on the news and in the media. It's just a reminder and reinforcing, don't bother saying anything because you won't be taken seriously. Nothing will ever happen. And you'll end up being seen as the bad guy, or even dismissed completely. Because on the news at the minute, I wouldn't have a clue of who the people are who are on the receiving end of that abuse or that criminal act. Don't know who they are. Don't know how many they are. Don't know what they're. I don't know anything, but I know a lot about the people who have either been involved in these acts or this stuff, or people who are in collusion with it. But
I
it
guess
doesn't about it just at the minute I'm just angry because it's just highlighting we're not going to do anything about it. We'll talk a lot about it and then it'll just go away.
I guess as well, it's how you look at things in terms of we're directed to what to look at, and so for children and you as a child, how you dismissed yourself, the children are almost being dismissed by not really personalizing. It's just you guessing about them. You're not individualizing them. You're guessing that these are children, and then they'll say underage. So you're kind of guessing then. There's a thing about underage. Do you see what I mean? So there's law of somebody made up a law about what age you can have sex. When you say underage, you wouldn't really think of how young, because underage, then you're going to think of a 14 or 15-year-old. You're not going to think of a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old when you say something like that. So it becomes a guess. So then it's a dehumanizing almost the child, or that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah.
the other thing, it's reminding you and other children that have been abused, we're not going to do anything about it. And then it seems to be quite odd to me. I don't watch the news or things like that because I don't believe a word people say, to be quite honest with you, especially when it comes to doing evil acts. So we're very fickle, as I say, we have willful ignorance or willful blindness. Like you mentioned, the royal family, it's like if that was a person down the street, what would people be doing? Do you see what I mean? There would be a total different reaction. If that was a man and a family down the street, it would be totally different. And yet, when people don't want their narrative or their fantasies to be destroyed. So they either don't want to believe it or it's not that bad, because they're different to us or whatever. People are human beings are human beings.
Mm.
And so then it gives a message out then that if you so there were a big thing that I heard about a while ago, and it was about a boy that I think he committed murder in a school, and because of he was deemed as a foreigner. Yeah, there's a hoo-ha, big hoo-ha about that, just the same as the man down the street. If it's a foreign, if it's somebody there, they're worse than we are.
Mm.
Yeah, like anybody's ego, you do the same as that. No, but I don't do it as bad as they do it. No, they're just terrible. They do it bad. So we all have this excuse-itis of that whatever I do isn't as bad as somebody else does it. And that's what seems to be playing out in some context as well, is that we can allow this to go on for such a long time. But if it was a foreigner that did it, then we'd do something about it more, wouldn't we? Because we can blame them. So it's always somebody over there that's worse. Now, that all as I know is that what that person did. And there was a big hoo-ha for what that person did. And yet, for these people, there isn't such a big hoo-ha. I think it's more of the victims that have called this out, and yet it's still played down a lot, or that's what it looks like. So it's what message do you get from that?
We're not going to do anything about it. We don't take it seriously. It's in the scheme of things, you're not important.
Yes. A child's or human life, as you said, is just not important enough. To the deviants.
No, and even when they do highlight it, when a report comes out or this, that, and the other, I think it's all talk, no action.
Well, it's talking about the perpetrators all the time. This is what they did and this is what they did. Not this is what we're going to do about it. This is what we're going to do about it. But barely the children. Do you see what I mean? Of that, there at some point, although these people are now adult, they were children. At some point, they never get really a story about these children are human beings.
Yeah,
this is what that has done to their.
It's dismissed.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like when it is, it's sensationalized, like the statistic. Oh God, no! How many people are experiencing this? Like there's 50,000 adults in Leeds who have experienced child sexual abuse, and it's like one would be too many. But you're still, regardless of whether it's 1 or 50,000, nothing. You're not doing anything.
And it's that where things are historical as well. Like I spoke before about slavery. It's that where at what point did this country start to care about human beings then? Because it doesn't look that way, does it? I'm not saying there aren't caring human beings out there, but at what point, for instance, speaking about children, I can't remember how many years ago, but I remember when children went to school, they started to weigh the children. And if they weighed too much, that they decided that if they weighed too much, they would get a letter home. But all of a sudden now, the ego is so fickle that now it's okay. Now it's just eat. That's all it is. It's okay that you just put this flavour in and this wrap around that, we'll just eat it. And so now we're playing games about, about that, like on TV. I think there's an advertisement that says, what's that song, diarrhea or whatever,
Yeah.
what it sings about. Now people are singing about it. It's like you're normalizing now illness,
Mm.
and so are we improving? Do you think in those terms,
No.
or are we caring less now about children? Are we literally telling them, you know, that I will feed you this if I eat, I'm going to feed you this? As I've said before, Dr. Sebi said, if you don't love yourself, you really don't love anyone else, because that's what you're prepared to do.
Mm.
And so we're just living off chemicals.
Yeah.
And all of the other stuff in terms of, you know, how you suffered many abuses. It wasn't just a sexual abuse. Does your anger come from the, you know, as you say, it wasn't so much, even though you're angry at the abuser, it was more about the people that say the care,
Yeah.
that you'd suffered
That I
abuse from.
feel let down. He didn't mask what he did. You know, it was I knew what was going to happen, and
Yes.
every time and stuff.
But the
It wasn't just,
cowardice was is that if he was asked about it, he would then lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
and but he didn't pretend, or he didn't lie. And I guess, I do struggle with people who say that they are going to help, or say that they can be trusted, because my experiences is they don't. They just want you to do as what they tell you, in a different form and shape and form. Just like, I guess, like the abuser wanted me to do what he said, even though I didn't want to, and I did. Just like with the eating disorder service, their idea of being treated for anorexia nervosa was doing what they say. And if you do what they say, you're all right. You get accepted. You know, and that kind of thing. If you don't do what they say, you get into trouble. You get discarded. You get discharged, or you get labelled that you're not engaging, and that kind of thing.
So is it for you then, you know, when you're seeing and you're looking for these kind of things, you're looking to be validated within yourself. So in that validation, it's like the proof that, look, I can't trust people because I'm watching the news right now, can't trust them. They're not doing anything. If they were going to do it, why haven't they done it? Why is it being dragged out for such a long time? They're not doing anything. They're not. And when they do sue someone, it's like, oh, well, you're just going to get your name changed. You know, so in Royal, you're just going to get your name changed. Well, what's that done? Nothing. Just change it. It's all made up anyway. We're just going to change your name. So it's like, right. So what's that going to do for the person that suffered?
Yeah.
It's not. So you you're devaluing that person that suffered, because now we're just going to change. It's just it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it, when you think about it like that? And it's, you know, in the bigger scheme of things, when you look at the world is a made up thing, because we're making it all up in our heads. As if one person is making a narrative up and believes in it, then many people are doing that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that, so all of these powers that be, what's made up, they're only powerful because we agree to them. Is really, then it comes down to, remember a Buddhist said, we are very lazy. We're very lazy human beings, because we'll work so hard in the ego world. You have to work hard for a living. We'll run around for it. We'll do all these things. We'll comply. But ultimately, you know, when the saying was, slaves, people that are born into slavery don't know that they're slaves. And so when we think about that, we think about other people instead of thinking about ourselves. We're a slave in our own mind, because we comply with what's been said. We believe what's been said. We follow like sheep at what's been said. We eat at what we're told to eat. We put things in our body that we're told that we should put into our body. But who benefits if we don't? Because our prison has become so comfortable. And if somebody said to you, there's a way out, you know, I can't be bothered. Can I take this with me though? Because look at what I bought, it's lovely. Can I take that with me? No, you can't take that. You won't be able to carry it through the road to your freedom. Oh, I can't be bothered. I'll do it tomorrow. Do you know, I just don't got the energy for that. I can't be bothered. And it's like, we have become, we're complicit. We're, we go along with it. It's called willful ignorance.
But maybe I am angry at others because I'm angry at myself for always going along with what somebody else wants, even though I know I don't want to, and I know it's abusive and I know it's wrong, but I've just gone and done as I was told. And maybe that's what I keep some anger for, to remind me. I don't know. I'm just, this is why the no-frills, I guess, because I'm just thinking about what's in my head. I ain't got an answer. I don't know. That I'm keeping it to remind me of all the mistakes I've made, and so I don't want to make them again. I don't know whether I'm keeping it to remind me that people are dangerous and I were right not to trust people. I don't know whether I'm keeping it because, like you say, it's a feeling that I'm used to, and it might not be nice, but I'm used to being on edge. I'm used to being wary of people. And is it that? Am I just, it's not a comfort zone. It's an uncomfortable zone, but it's one that I know.
What if you decided to, the prison that you've created that's in your mind and believing what people are saying because they've got a label of an authority figure, or they've got a label, and they've proved to you now that they can't be trusted. They've proved to you many times over that they can't be believed. What if you escaped from the prison then? And you left all the can't trust behind because you relied on you. So when, as Freud said, we're children running around in adults' bodies because we're waiting for somebody else to save us. We're waiting for somebody else to come and they're going to come and they're going to do this and all the bad people are going to be punished and all of that. But if that's not going to happen and you became the adult in the adult's body and somebody said, this way out's to freedom, what does that feel like? You don't need to not trust.
It feels completely alien, and I can't even imagine or envisage what that would be like.
Why would you then? Because that very thing tells you that you're not free, doesn't it? If you can't imagine freedom, then that very thing tells you I must have been born in a prison.
Yeah.
And the prison keeps me in a prison of fear and lies. Then if someone said, this is the way out, you don't even need to imagine it. You're now going to be free from all of this, all of that you're thinking, all of that you're feeling. Because now you can see the truth of it. Because the truth is making it there.
That sounds scary, doesn't it?
Is it more scary?
The unknown.
But is it more scary than the known? Is it more scary than the known? That you know that you're in this unsafe place, as you said. You're looking to be validated that you're in this unsafe place. You know that the people in it you can't trust. You've been in it all your life. You can't trust the people. So somebody says, okay, over there it's safe. Over there you're not going to be in that world of the ego with people that you can't trust. Because you know they exist. But you're going to create in a little world for yourself in a world that you can trust.
But it means trusting that person. That's what will happen.
It means trusting you. The very thing you've been taught not to do that you learn. I can't trust my own judgment.
I learned from a very young age, and that's why I can't remember. I've got nothing. I don't feel as if I've got anything to reflect back on. Not like I don't know. You have an accident when you're 20 or you're going that kind of thing. I haven't got a reference point to go back to. So it does, freedom or whatever change does seem scary, and
you can't remember your freedom when you were born because you were programmed at such a young age that you can't reference when you felt free, when you danced and sung on a bus and swung around. You didn't care what anybody thought of you. You did all. You don't have a reference point that you can remember. So, and you've got nice cushions in your prison.
And I think, yeah, I think I'd want to say, when you say, do I trust myself? I go, yeah, I've developed and I can do, I don't think I'm evil anymore. I don't think I'm being punished by God. Yeah, I've developed. When I think, do I really trust myself? I think I want to say yes, but I mustn't, because I don't, because I still hold a lot of anger and hurt myself a lot. So I obviously, I've got some kind of holding that I still need to be punished.
Do you trust the people around you then in the environment that have got all these labels? Do you trust them?
No,
You trust yourself enough to learn that you can't trust them.
I don't know, because I still go back to it. We still go back to the next doctor's appointment. We still go back to the whatever, no matter what, that they've done nothing before, or they in fact have actually harmed you before or dismissed you before. You still go back expecting and hoping that they'll be different.
And is that what you look for when you keep repeatedly getting reminded of something? The very thing that you're manifesting in your life and you look for is the very thing you don't want. So you go back to trust and use that it's going to tell you something good. Is that why you watch it?
Yeah.
The trust there is, as people did in COVID, they incessantly watched it and did a wreck-it just to look for when they're safe, for somebody else to tell them that they're safe. You can make yourself safe now if you want, but I'm going to wait for them. I'm going to watch the news for somebody else to come and save me, because I'm this child now gone back into my child self, that they're going to tell me that I'm safe by people who weren't safe anyway, because that's what you've learned.
Yeah.
Then who else would you have to trust then other than yourself?
It's keeping me trapped, isn't it?
You're keeping you trapped because you've been the child in the adult's body waiting for a parent figure to come along and save you, rather than developing your own trust. What have I learned so far? I've learned I can trust people over here, but I've learned I can't trust people over here. So what about the people? Have you learned that there are people that you can trust?
I don't know if I've learned it, but I've been surprised when it's happened, and been surprised when it hasn't been followed up with something negative. But I guess for me, it's that confirmation bias. That's the scary. I'll look for things to remind me to be on my guard, and I'll look for things to remind me that, you know, people are dangerous and that kind of thing. And that's why I guess I can easily forget those really nice people who have been so compassionate and just see me as, I'm thinking within the NHS, who have seen me as a person who's struggling and not just a task that they've been assigned or a diagnosis that they've got to treat or cure.
Or a tick box.
Yeah. And it, you know, I sometimes keep getting, oh, well, I haven't got anywhere to put that in my box. Or, you know, and things like that. Or just a tick box. I can remember just being, when I was admitted to hospital once and for an operation, and she went, do you smoke? No. Do you drink? No. Do you self-harm? And I went, yeah, you could say that. And she just ticked it, went on, do you exercise? And it was like, you're not bothered about me.
You become a human doing, as I say, rather
Yeah.
than a being. So it's beings dismissing beings, almost like we're taught to be robots instead of being, you know, David Attenborough learns about animals. We don't learn about human beings. We learn about this machine, which is matter. So we're interested in that, but we're not interested in the other parts of it that isn't. We're not interested in the fact that we're energy. We're not in fact that we've got an electrical system. That's what your autonomic nervous system is. We're not interested in the other part of we're just interested in the matter. It's like, I'm not interested in how you make a candle when it's fluid. I'm interested in when it's hardened, and that's what matter is. And yet, that's why I believe it's called matter, because it seems to matter more than whatever created it. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So we're more interested in the creation rather than the creator, and that's what we're more interested in. So it's that, because that's what we're being taught. We're not interested in you. We're interested now in, we know you're here. We're not interested in what created that. There's something bigger than that. We're just interested in what we're doing with it. in the ego world rather than in the spiritual world, or the energy of what we are, of what the planet is. We're not interested in that. But many people are in discomfort. They're in discomfort because we're missing something. We're missing the mark. We're trying to do everything in matter. We're trying to wear this matter's mark. We're trying to put something in here all the time because our egos know better than whatever created us. But we can't create anything. Do you see what I mean? Apart from a daydream that we put into the world.
And while you're talking, what I've been thinking about is when you say about the people who have helped me and it's been helpful, they haven't done anything like out of the ordinary rocket scientists. I know people have said to me before, I don't know about that, so I can't deal with you. I'm not trained enough. It hasn't been a matter of how much they know or not. It's how they've treated me. I will always, the first one that sticks into my mind is that guy, that nurse, I don't even know the name, who were in theatre with me when I was having an epidural and I couldn't feel anything, and they let me keep my underwear on in surgery, and he just kept reminding, because I was laid on my front, and every few minutes he just kept reminding me, I know you can't feel it, but I'm just letting you know you are covered up. Nobody can see anything. You're not exposed, because that was one of my fears. And he just kept coming every minute or so, just saying, you're all right, you're still covered up. And just for that 15 minutes before the whole operation and everything, just that made such a difference. And it's that comes in my mind when you say, think of somebody who has been really helpful to you, because he saw me as a person. I wasn't there just as a patient, a diagnosis, a procedure, or anything like that.
Well, it's taken away the tick box of the robot. You don't matter, although matter matters. Actually, to having empathy for the human being, and saying I've got a human being in front of me that has thoughts, feelings, emotions, and all of those kind of things, rather than the person is, I'm there to help the person, and I'm going to treat her like a person instead of she's here for me. This entity is here for me to tick my box, and if this entity can't tick my box, then I'll just move the entity along. Well, as no, all of you is welcome here. The spiritual, the emotional, all of you is welcome. And this is, so I want to know about your feelings. And if I don't know about anything, I'm going to ask you, because you know how it feels, so you can explain it to me. So it's not have I gone and trained about you as a machine. I'm going to ask you about you, because you're the one that knows about that.
Yeah.
So it's really just, what would you do if somebody offered you freedom? And what you said is, from your experience in life, I'm going to keep looking for danger because I keep watching for it. Yeah, and if you keep watching for it, you're missing out on all the good bits.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We miss out all the good bits because we're far too busy being followers, and we're not being the adult self. We're being the child self. Well, so far, do you know all these people that have found pure happiness and pure health? No. These people that are rich and powerful are all the things that they're doing. And who are you going to look up to as the child? Who can now the child look up to? No one.
No.
The child could never look up to anybody. As children, we all just managed in an abnormal environment the best that we could. And so it's not about getting angry with yourself. It's about seeing things for what they really are. Having a level of understanding that hurt people.
And hurt people do hurt people, and helpful people can become
and help people.
Yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, totally forgot what I was going to say. But it's because it's about taking risks, isn't it?
No, the risks that you take is looking for danger. It's not about taking risks. It's about just changing to something different. It's that there are parts of you that you can trust. Because if there are parts that you don't trust and that gets proved to you, I shouldn't have trusted them. Equally, when you meet somebody that does something good for you, I was right to trust them.
Mm.
I was right on that operating theatre to trust that man who asked me to trust him, that said, this is what we're going to do, and he did. So you have two sides. One is your freedom side, and one is your prison side. One is the one that feels good. Freedom feels good.
Oh, I've got it.
Yeah,
Light bulb, light
that's
bulb.
it. And the other one is the one that feels bad. It feels I'm trapped.
Yeah, because it's about, when you've said it's about not trusting others, it's about trusting me. So it's about trusting myself, that if I get into that situation again where somebody is mistreating me or abusing me, I trust myself to remove myself from that situation.
Exactly.
Rather than looking out for danger, I trust whatever situation I am in.
I will keep myself safe.
And that's what I haven't been doing.
Yes.
That's the adult.
Yes.
It's about trusting yourself to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
And removing yourself.
I don't have to sit here and bear this.
Yeah.
I can leave at any time I choose.
I'm not that child who has to just do what your elders say.
Yes.
Do what your grown-ups say.
Yeah, because you're a grown-up now.
Yeah.
Are we in there?
Yes, please.